Hi there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Get Your Ass Up and Move Fitness and Nutrition Podcast. I am your host, peta-gay Barrett with Barrett Fitness. And on this podcast, we discuss fitness, nutrition, overall health, and overall well-being. I went to the doctor to have my or get my physical done like I do every year. Every year around my birthday in October, I go and I get a full panel blood workup because I want to know what's going on in my body. I want to know how my iron levels look. I want to know how my blood sugar levels look, my protein levels, my LDL, my HDL, my vitamin D, my iron. I want to know what's going on in my body, you guys. So every year in October, around my birthday, I go and I get a physical done, full blood workup. Came back that I am vitamin D deficient, you all. Vitamin D deficient. So that's the topic of discussion for today, you guys. My doctor was like, your vitamin D is extremely low. Here are a prescription for some vitamin D. You need to take these. And I am taking vitamin D supplement temporarily. And as a nutrition specialist, fitness nutrition specialist, I know what it takes to get my vitamin D to the levels where I need it to. But there's some really important factors that go into play, you guys. So today I am going to break down the role of vitamin D in the body, the food sources of vitamin D, the required amount of vitamin D deficiency, and vitamin D toxicity. Now, one of the main functions of vitamin D in the body, you guys, is to help the body to absorb calcium. Everybody knows that. Or if you don't know, now you know. Vitamin D and calcium work hand in hand with each other. The vitamin D help the body to regulate your blood calcium level. It also helps the body to absorb phosphate and magnesium. Now, these nutrients are important for bone health, for teeth health, and they're also important for muscle health, to help the muscles to move. It's important to help to prevent fractures, rickets in children, which we will talk about rickets a little bit further on. Studies have also shown that vitamin D can help to prevent certain types of cancer, mainly colon cancer. So these are the big roles and functions of vitamin D in the body. And the number one function is it helps the body to regulate your blood calcium level. It helps the body to absorb calcium, and vitamin D and calcium work hand in hand with each other. Now, how do you get vitamin D, you ask? Now, we all know that vitamin D is the sunshine vitamin. Everybody knows that, right? And that's why I was a little bit hurt when I found out from my doctor that I was vitamin D deficient. And it just made me, kind of check myself just to see what is it that I am not doing right? I eat the food that I know to be high source of vitamin D. I am outside running, quite a bit, and I know sunshine is the main way to get vitamin D. And while I am a pescatarian and I don't drink regular milk, I eat foods that are fortified with vitamin D. Now, I will have to say this, you guys, and mainly for my African American friends and people who may be listening to this podcast or will watch this video once I post it on YouTube. For those of us with darker skin complexion, so all my people of African descent and my brown skin brothers and sisters, it is harder for our bodies to make our skin to make the vitamin D, right? So you will probably need more sunshine. You would need to make sure that you're getting it from your food, and even though the food and sunshine are the better ways to doing that, depending on where you are in the world or in the country. I know I hate to say this, you may have to take a vitamin D supplement, you guys. So it made me check myself, right? So I know that I go out and run a lot, and I know that I should get sunshine from or vitamin D from my sunshine, or actually the rays of the sun hits my skin, and my skin helps my body to create the vitamin D. Now, one thing we have to understand, you guys, you have to have direct sun UV rays to the skin. You cannot sit by a window and have the sunshine, coming in and think you're going to get vitamin D like that. You have to be outside in direct sunshine in order for your body to get that UV rays, in order for your body to absorb those vitamin Ds, or help your skin to create those vitamin Ds. So if you put suntan lotion or sunblock on, that can actually help to prevent the body from absorbing the rays of the sun to create vitamin D, having darker skin, or you cannot be inside. So a lot of times when I go out and run, you all, I am running, I love to do trail running, so I'm running where the sky may be overcast. That's not a great way to get vitamin D from your sunshine, because it's hot outside. Again, if the sky is overcast, if it's shaded in the area, which a lot of the trails that I run on, even though it's hot outside and the sun is shining, it's shaded. There's some days when it may be too hot, and I decide to go for my run when it's a little bit shaded or overcast. Those are not the best way to get your vitamin D or your sun rays from your vitamin D to your skin. You have to get that direct from the sun to the skin, and that's the best source of your vitamin D. So for the best time of day for you to do that is between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Now the sun is higher in the sky, and radiation is at its best at that time of day, and that just gives you a better opportunity to get that great radiation from the sun, UV ray hitting the skin to help your body to create that vitamin D. And for my people who live in the northern hemisphere, northern part of America, in the wintertime, I know that this may be hard, right? But one thing you need to understand is that the body will store vitamin D, you guys. The body will store vitamin D. That's why the supplements that I am on right now, I am just, taking it for a few months, get my stores going, and maybe once the sun starts to come out, I'll start going outside a little bit more and eating the foods that are great sources of vitamin D, which I already do, but I need to make a little bit of changes, and I will talk about that in a little bit. But sunshine, you can go outside mainly in the summertime, sit outside for anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes. You don't have to take all your clothes off and go sunbathing for a couple of hours and get sunburned, because again, for those of you all with lighter skin, my Caucasian friends, you want to make sure you're protecting yourself from skin cancer, because that is a real thing, you guys, and going out in the sun and burning yourself is just not the way to go. You can sit outside for between 10 and 20 to 30 minutes. You guys sit in the direct sunlight, let it hit you, just your hands, your arms, your legs, a little bit on your face. You don't have to go burn yourself on your front and burn yourself on your back. 10 to 15 or 10 to 20, 30 minutes a day, even 3 days per week. That should be sufficient if we're getting direct sunshine to the skin. And it's the best time to do it in the summertime and between the hours of 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. So, my friends in the Caribbean, my friends in places like Florida, just have a better opportunities to be able to do that than, someone who may live in Massachusetts or Maine or, New York or someplace like that in the winter time, or Canada in the winter time. Even I live in Georgia, and even living in Georgia today, we're in the winter. I think it's winter right now. And the sun was out today, and it was out just for a short period of time. And I just went outside and, my arms and my legs, and sat there for 15 minutes because my goal is to get off of medication, and make sure that my stores are up and I don't have to take any more, vitamin D. So your liver and your adipose tissue is actually where our body, and the adipose tissue is just right under the skin, you guys. That's where our body actually stores the vitamin D, and then whenever your body needs the vitamin D, then your kidney aids with releasing it into your blood to help regulate your blood calcium level. As mentioned earlier, that's one of the main functions of vitamin D in the body, is to regulate your blood calcium level. And we'll talk about vitamin D deficiency. We know calcium actually helps to maintain strong teeth, strong muscles, but mainly strong teeth and strong bones. Osteoporosis is a big deal, especially amongst women, and it's because of vitamin D deficiency. Fractures, amongst women as we get to a certain age, your body may require more calcium, therefore requiring a little bit more vitamin D to help regulate that calcium, in your body. So osteoporosis, if you're vitamin D deficient, fractures, bone pain, and I talk about rickets in children. Now in the US, I think we've done, but studies have shown that we have done a really good job to kind of eliminate rickets by fortifying a lot of our foods, right? They're fortified cereal, milk is fortified with vitamin D. So you have your vitamin D and your calcium in your milk, just regular whole milk, which I don't drink, but eating fortified foods is just a great way of getting, your vitamin D. So America did a great job with fortifying foods to actually help to pretty much eliminate rickets. Now, rickets is what, I guess common terminology could be knock-knee or bow leg. So, I know growing up in Jamaica is something that I have seen, a lot with people who have knock-knee, or people who have bow leg. So that could be a sign of, a child not having enough vitamin D and calcium, or the vitamin D to help regulate the calcium, in their body. And, as someone who's in nutrition, and, I'm not about eating a lot of animal food and animal products, but, as a parent, if you're trying to not have your children or your child drink milk, you may want to, reconsider that and make sure that they're, getting fortified foods that has a great source of vitamin D if they're not out in the sun getting that, because it could, cause rickets and, bow leg and knock-knee and stuff like that, which can, cause, issues for children, as they get older. And a large national study actually found that 9% of US children and adolescents are deficient in vitamin D. So that's something that we need to take into consideration. Almost 10% of our children are vitamin D deficient. So you find that when your kids are indoors watching TV too much or playing video games too much, and we're worried about how it's going to affect them cognitively and mentally, we may want to think that how it's going to affect them, just their overall health. Because if they go outside in the summertime and, play soccer or football or basketball or whatever, and, run around outside, they are getting a vitamin, that is free. It's a sunshine vitamins for those of you who have the luxury of living in places where, you have sunshine, for most of the year. So it's just, something to consider. Now we're going to talk about the food sources of vitamin D. Again, we know sunshine is a great way of getting it, but we also know that some of us don't have the luxury of having direct sunshine year round. Now, my favorite foods, which was why I was hurt when I found out I'm vitamin D deficient, because they're seafoods, you guys, fatty fish. Now, my favorite, salmon. Cooked salmon is actually a great source of vitamin D, you guys. I just love to put some Jamaican jerk seasoning, whatever seasoning you like on your salmon, drizzle just a little bit of olive oil on it, stick that bad boy in the oven, and you have a healthy, piece of omega-3 fatty acids. That's great for your, brain health, great for your heart. You're getting great source of, protein, and you're getting, vitamin D. And when the last time we talked about vitamins, we did vitamin A, right? And that's a great source of, vitamin A as well. Another great source of vitamin D, you guys, are sardines. Sardines in the can with the bone in oil. Now, it is that specific. Sardines in the can in oil with the bone. So that again is a great source of vitamin D. And I love sardines, but I just found that I had stopped eating sardines, I guess, because they come out of the can and you're trying to, whatever. I just kind of cut it out of my diet, and I like it with a particular food. I like it with white rice and I just can't eat that much white rice. So, I just find myself that I stopped doing that. So I will have to start incorporating sardines in the can with oil, with the bone in oil. It's a great source. Tuna in the can in water is another great source of vitamin D, you guys. So, and I had cut out tuna in the can out of my diet, and I had cut back on my salmon and was going more plant-based. I just thought about it last week. I think for most of the week I ate strictly vegan, and it was toward the end of the week I'm like, oh my god, I gotta get some salmon in my diet, because I know the nutritional value and how important it is to get those omega-3 fatty acids, to get those vitamin D, to get that healthy fat and healthy protein in my diet. So I need to just start incorporating these things back in my diet. Now, fish oil, like cod liver oil, and other fish oils are actually great source of vitamin D. Keep in mind, plant foods are not a great source of vitamin D, you guys. So that's just something to keep in mind. Certain mushrooms are great sources of vitamin D. And again, like I mentioned earlier, the US does a great job of fortifying foods, fortified breads, fortified milk and fortified cereals and margarine and, stuff like that, that a lot of you use in your diet on a daily basis. So just look at your food labels and see, most of the cereals, and I don't eat cereal and I don't drink regular milk, so we need to watch our diets, while I'm here trying to think I am being so healthy by going mainly plant-based, and only a couple of weeks I am going to, eat seafood, and I'm going to cut out sardines, because it's coming out of can, and tuna. No, I know better, right? And I know that my body needs to get that direct sunshine. So a couple of days a week when I go run, I'm gonna run in the sun where the sun is hitting my body, or I'm not staying in one place, or just go out and just sit in the sun for 15 minutes, you guys. Your arms, your hands, your legs, again, you don't have to do your whole body. So as you guys can probably tell, I'm a little hurt to find out that, but I want to be transparent, right? I am anemic as well, because I don't eat meat, and I don't, eat certain foods that are probably great source of iron, and I get most of my iron from, plant-based. So I am anemic, always been anemic. I'm a woman. And, so I have to take an iron supplement. And now I know that I'm vitamin D deficient, and I'm going to do this for a couple of months, and I'm going to get back into eating the way I used to eat, because I was just cutting out seafood out of my diet just too much, and I wasn't doing like oils. And a lot of people who are vegan will do like cod liver oil and other fish oil to help supplement that. But I know what I need to do, and hopefully you guys will find this podcast helpful. There's so many people who are vitamin D deficient, you guys, and I cannot stress enough, you all, the importance of just going to the doctor once a year and getting a checkup. Because I am thinking, oh, you're out in the sun running around, but I'm not getting that direct hit from the sun. Oh, you cut out most seafoods and you're going mainly plant-based, but you're not taking any supplements, peta-gay. Talking to myself. You're cutting out salmon, and that's just a great source of a lot of the things that you need in your body. No, I need to check myself. And while I'm doing this, thinking I'm doing something great, it's causing another issue in my body. So I would actually rather eat my salmon and go out and get that direct sunshine than having to take vitamin D supplements. So we will do a check, so probably in about 3 months or so, to check my vitamin D, and I will be transparent with you guys, and let you know how my vitamin D is looking. I didn't touch on vitamin D toxicity because it's not really a big deal. In the US, you can't get it from sunshine. You can poison your body with vitamin D, from sunshine. It's supplementation. What it will cause is too much calcium buildup in your body, which is actually really bad for your kidneys. Right? So we need to make sure that if we're taking a vitamin D supplement, really the recommended amount is 50 micrograms for adults 19 years or older. So just be careful that we're not over supplementing if we have to supplement. My doctor gave me the amount that I needed and for the period of time that I needed it. And I did my research to make sure that I'm not overdoing it, and you guys should do the same way. When you buy your food, you should look at your food label to see what's in it, and if you know that you need vitamin D, make sure that your foods are fortified if you have to eat prepackaged foods. And I try to stay away from prepackaged foods again, but a lot of prepackaged foods are fortified with vitamin A, D, E, K, magnesium, all these vitamins, and nutrients, but we just have to be smart about it. So go ahead, you guys, go outside when I know it's the winter time, when the sun is out, and just get you your vitamin D. Again, it's that direct UV ray that hits the skin, helps the skin to create the vitamin D. The vitamin D in return actually helps the body to regulate and absorb your calcium levels. Your liver and your adipose tissue stores the vitamin D, and then when your body needs it, your kidney comes into play to actually help with regulating the calcium. And those are just some points that I want to end with. You're going to get it from your sunshine in the summertime. During the summertime, between the hours of 10 and 3, the sun is farther away from you, from the ground, and there's more radiation, causing better UV rays to hit the skin. If you live in northern region, I know it's tough. So you want to maybe check with your doctor. Make sure if you check your blood and you're okay and you don't need it, then that's fine. People who live in the Caribbean and places like Florida and so forth, you should be able to, again, you guys, just sit outside for 10, 15, 20 minutes, get your arms, your legs, hit it 2 or 3 times a week. And just remember, for us, African Americans and people of darker and brown skin, it's just harder for our bodies to, our skin to actually create vitamin D from the sun. So we want to watch our diets and probably take some kind of supplement, you guys. So the best way to get your vitamins and your minerals is through food. The National Heart Association and it's just what's recommended, right? Rather than supplementation, because most of the times you don't even know what you're putting in your body. So as much as I can go buy pills with vitamin D, and as much as I can go buy my iron, I have my doctor prescribe that for me, and I make sure that I do my research on it before I take it. And then once, sometimes twice a year, I go get my blood work done, so I know what's going on in my body. You all. So hopefully you guys I hope you guys find this very helpful. As we talk about vitamins, we talked about vitamin A last week. Now we're talking about vitamin D. These are fat soluble vitamins. And then next time we talk about vitamins, we'll talk about vitamin E. A, D, E, and K are all fat soluble vitamins. It's just interesting that I just found out I'm deficient in vitamin D, and this is what around the time that I choose to do this video. So once again, you guys, thank you so very much for tuning into my podcast. For those of you who have given me feedback on my podcast and on my videos, I greatly appreciate it, you all. For the people that I have interviewed, I greatly appreciate every single one of you for sharing your story with me. Whether it's someone who's had the double mastectomy, whether it's someone who's take their health into their own hands and prevented themselves from having to do a second surgery, whether it's someone who is a mother trying to juggle school and a business and a husband and children. I appreciate all of you guys who have sat down with me and do an interview. And if you're watching this video and you have a story to tell, I would love to help you share your story, you guys. But until next time, you guys, you know where to find me. Well, maybe this is your first time checking out my podcast. And if not, I will tell you where to find me. I am available on Apple Podcasts. The name of the podcast is Get Your Ass Up and Move. I'm available on Spotify, on Google Play. You can listen to this on my blog at barrett.fitness. Click on the podcast tab, or I am also recording this for YouTube so you can see my beautiful face as we have this conversation, and this will be posted on YouTube. Hop on over, subscribe to my channel. You guys, leave me a comment, share this video with someone that may need to hear this information. So until next time, you guys, get your ass up and move, y'all.